This newscast is brought to you by Cuber, Pittsburgh's source for LGBTQ plus news and community information. To learn more about Cuber, go to their website, cuber.com. That's QBURGH.com. From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. We open today with some news about rainbows. Hawaii's regular sunshine, short rain showers, and clean air come together to create some of the planet's best conditions for viewing rainbows. They're such a frequent sight that a University of Hawaii professor calls the state the rainbow capital of the world. Right now, it's the winter rainy season in the islands, which means the odds of seeing a rainbow are even higher than usual. Rainbows emerge so often in Hawaii, they've become popular symbols of island life. Pictures of them adorn buildings, the sides of public buses, and appear on standard vehicle license plates. University of Hawaii sports teams are even named after rainbows. For me, rainbows really signify hope and new beginnings, said Leanne Usher, the president of the Children's Discovery Center in Honolulu, which features rainbows on its exterior wall and in its exploration rooms. I can't ever help but smile whenever I see a rainbow after the rain. Here are some things to know about rainbows in Hawaii. Rainbows form when raindrops refract sunlight into a spectrum of colors. The brighter the sun, the clearer the rainbow. Look for them when it is both sunny and raining at the same time. They will appear opposite the sun. They will seem larger and higher in the sky in the early morning and late afternoon when the sun is lower on the horizon. Stephen Buzinger, the professor of atmospheric sciences at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, says the archipelago's trade winds bring many small showers with enough blue sky between them for the sun to shine through. Hawaii's clean air also helps. Other places tend to have more air particles from dust, pollen, and cars. Conditions improve further during Hawaii's rainy season, which lasts from October through April. Hawaii has maybe the best rainbows on the planet, Bussinger said. Bussinger created an app called Rainbow Chase to help people find rainbows in Hawaii. Rainbows represent divine or supernatural power in native Hawaiian tradition. Sam Ohugan III, senior scientist and a cultural advisor at the Nature Conservancy in Hawaii, said rainbows are considered a symbol of Kane, one of the four main gods in Hawaiian tradition. Traditionally, the closer one got to a rainbow, the more likely they were to encounter a supernatural force or an extremely powerful or chiefly person, he said. In one centuries-old story, a rainbow appears over the secluded home of a Hawaiian princess for 4 straight days. Another emerges above the ocean when her suitor arrives, a man so strong his punch pierces an opponent's chest like a spear. If you need to chase after rainbows, perhaps then Hawaii is your destination of choice. Because you see, rainbow imagery decorates everything from buildings and restaurant facades to athletic uniforms. For example, the Hawaii men's athletic teams are called Rainbow Warriors, and the women's teams are Rainbow Wahine, using the Hawaiian word for women. The teams are called Bows for short. The origin of the rainbow mascot dates to 1924's New Year's Day. You see, in Hawaii, they were locked into a scoreless tie against the visiting Oregon Aggies when a rainbow appeared over the field. Hawaii scored soon after, and reporters began calling the team the Rainbows, according to the book Hawaii Sports, History, Facts, and Statistics. The Hawaii football team in 2000 dropped Rainbow from its nickname when a coach expressed concern that it carried a stigma because of its association with the LGBTQ plus community. However, the school restored the name in 2013. In other news, in the first 3 weeks of his administration, President Donald Trump has moved with brazen haste to dismantle the federal government's public integrity guardrails that he frequently tested during his first term, but now seems intent on removing entirely. In a span of hours on Monday, word came that he had forced out leaders of offices responsible for government ethics and whistleblower complaints. And in a boon to corporations, he ordered a pause to enforcement of a decades-old law that prohibits American companies from bribing foreign governments to win business. All of that came on top of the earlier late-night purge of more than a dozen inspectors general who are tasked with rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse at government agencies. It's all being done with a stop me if you dare defiance by a president who, the first time around, felt hemmed in by watchdogs, lawyers, and then judges tasked with affirming good government and fair play. Now, he seems determined to break all those constraints all at once and for all in a historically unprecedented flex of executive power. It's the most corrupt start that we've ever seen in the history of the American presidency, said Norma Eisen, a former U.S. ambassador to the Czech Republic who was a legal advisor to Democrats during Trump's first impeachment. The end goal is to avoid accountability this time, said Princeton University presidential historian Julian Zelizer. Not just being protected by his party and counting on the public to move on scandals or when problems emerge, but this time by actually removing many of the key figures whose job it is to oversee his administration. Zelizer added, it's a much bolder assertion than in his first term, and if successful, and if all these figures are removed, you'll have a combination of an executive branch lacking independent voices that will keep their eye on the ball, and then a congressional majority that, at least thus far, isn't really going to cause problems for him. To some degree, Trump's early actions reflect a continuation of the path he blazed in his first term when he dismissed multiple key inspectors general, including those leading the Defense Department and intelligence community, and fired an FBI director and an attorney general amid a Justice Department investigation into his ties between his 2016 presidential campaign and Russia. This time, though, his administration has moved much more swiftly in a reprisal against those he feels previously wronged him or still could. His Justice Department last month fired more than a dozen prosecutors involved in investigations into his hoarding of classified documents and his efforts to undo the 2020 presidential election, both of which resulted in since-abandoned indictments after he left office. It's also demanded a list of all agents who participated in investigations related to the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol, with Trump saying Friday that he intends to quickly and surgically fire some of them. And the Fourth Reich keeps marching on. The coup continues. That's the news at this hour. Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. If you are watching this newscast on YouTube, please click the subscribe button. Let's get back now to some more music here on PEP Radio.